basically saying that the kids are not safe around Iman. She said Iman be smoking weed around the kids and be forgetting to feed them. One of the wildest parts of the allegations is Teyana says that Iman put the kids in a rideshare in Chicago and had them dropped off at the United Center Arena alone while he had a private driver drop him off.
Chaos erupted inside Teyana's home, and it got ugly. Her daughter and Aaron got into a screaming match that shook the whole house. Words were shouted, doors slammed, and the air turned so heavy that even the walls seemed to hold their breath. Nothing could have prepared them for how fast everything spiraled. What started off as an ordinary moment turned into a full-blown emotional earthquake, one that no one could ignore. In a matter of minutes, things went from calm to completely out of control. And while some people might say arguments happen in every home, this one was different. It wasn't just loud. It was personal. It was raw. And it left scars that wouldn't be easy to cover up. Now, as the dust settles, everyone's asking the same questions. What really happened? Who crossed the line? And is there any coming back from this? It had started like any other afternoon. The sun was shining outside, music played softly in the background, and everything felt normal until it didn't. Aaron had asked Teyana's daughter to clean something up, a small mess in the kitchen. But the child pushed back, saying she didn't make it. Aaron didn't believe her. He accused her of being disrespectful, of having an attitude. And that's when it all exploded. "You're not my dad," she shouted, her voice cracking with frustration. Aaron, instead of calming things down, shot back with a line that pierced through the air. "Then stop acting like a spoiled brat." That was it. The argument took off like a fire. Neither one of them backed down. Voices echoed through the house, and it felt like the foundation of their home was cracking with each word. Teyana, upstairs at the time, came rushing down when she heard the shouting. But by then, it was already too late. Teyana tried to step in, her voice shaking as she yelled, "Enough!" But the emotions in the room had already taken control. Her daughter was red-faced, tears running down her cheeks, shouting, "He always blames me for everything." And Aaron, flushed with anger, fired back, "Because you're always the problem." That moment froze everyone. Even Teyana looked stunned, like she couldn't believe what she had just heard. Her daughter broke down in front of her, and for a split second, there was silence, the kind of silence that says more than words ever could. Teyana pulled her daughter aside, whispering, "We'll talk later," trying to contain what was already beyond control. Neighbors would later say they heard the screaming from the street. It wasn't just loud, it was desperate. It was the kind of yelling that comes from deep pain, not just anger. And in that moment, everyone in the house knew something had shifted forever. When things finally calmed enough for her to think straight, Teyana picked up her phone and called Iman. Her hands were shaking. Her voice was soft and cracked with emotion. "She's not safe here emotionally. She's breaking," she told him through tears. Iman didn't hesitate. Not for a second. "I'm coming to get her right now," he said. And he meant it. Within the hour, he arrived. The door swung open, and there he was. Their daughter ran to him and wrapped her arms around him so tightly it looked like she never wanted to let go. Iman looked at Aaron but didn't say a word. His silence said it all. He turned to Teyana and said, "She's coming with me. We'll talk later." Teyana nodded. She knew this wasn't about sides or pride. This was about saving their daughter from more emotional damage. Aaron didn't speak, didn't stop them. He just watched, and that quiet reaction told them everything they needed to know. When the house finally emptied and the front door closed, Teyana sat down and just broke. Everything she'd been trying to hold together fell apart in that one moment. "I let it get this far. I should have listened sooner," she whispered to herself, wiping away the tears. She had ignored the signs for too long. The tension, the uncomfortable silences, the way her daughter had been slowly retreating into herself. Later that night, she called her daughter to apologize. Not just for what happened, but for not protecting her sooner. "He's not allowed near her again until we figure this out," she told Iman on the phone. And for the first time in a long time, it felt like all three of them were on the same page. They didn't have all the answers, but they had one thing clear. Aaron wasn't welcome in that space anymore. But the bigger question loomed like a shadow. Was he still a part of their family? And did they even want him to be? Word about the fight didn't stay private for long. As soon as someone leaked what had happened behind closed doors, the internet reacted like a spark had hit dry grass. It exploded. In just a few hours, social media timelines were filled with outrage, disbelief, and fierce protection. The details were still murky, but one thing was crystal clear to everyone watching: Something serious had gone down.
People were angry.
Not the usual kind of celebrity drama anger. This was deeper.
It was emotional. It was protective.
Fans didn't just see it as a moment of conflict. They saw it as a moment of harm, a line crossed that never should have been touched. No grown man should ever scream at a child like that, one user wrote, echoing the thoughts of thousands of others.
There was a collective sense of disgust.
Hashtags started popping up everywhere, calling for action. Some were simple, just the little girl's name, followed by deserves peace. Others were more direct, #remove Aaron, #protect the child, #listen to kids. The message was consistent and urgent. People demanded that Aaron be removed from the household immediately. For many, this wasn't a case of a bad day or a regrettable argument. It was being named for what it truly was, emotional abuse.
As more people weighed in, a clearer picture began to emerge. Fans didn't care about sides.
They weren't interested in gossip or picking who to cancel.
This wasn't about celebrity allegiance.
It was about a young girl, an innocent child, caught in the middle of a situation she didn't ask for and didn't deserve. Protect the child became the rallying cry. That phrase showed up in tweets, posts, and comment sections across every platform. And the internet wasn't just reacting, they were demanding accountability. They saw something toxic happening, and they refused to look away. Iman's name quickly became part of the conversation, not just as the child's father, but as the person who had stepped in with the kind of calm strength people were desperate to see. Fans applauded him for his response, calling it mature, measured, and most of all, focused.
He didn't lash out. He didn't go online to rant or defend himself. He acted. He protected.
He did what every parent hopes they do when their child is in distress. He listened, and then he took control of the situation. Many began urging him to seek full custody, saying his daughter clearly felt safest with him. It wasn't about revenge or custody battles. It was about emotional safety. That was the one thing people kept repeating, make sure the child is safe.
Meanwhile, Aaron stayed silent. Not a post. Not a comment.
Not even a vague message hinting at regret or apology. Insiders began talking, claiming that Aaron felt misunderstood, that he was overwhelmed by work, stress, and outside pressure. Some close to him whispered about long hours, mental exhaustion, and a build-up of personal frustrations.
But the public wasn't having it.
Being tired doesn't give you the right to traumatize a child, one comment read, and it captured the feeling of thousands of others.
Sympathy was in short supply.
Even those who had once defended Aaron or seen him in a positive light began stepping back. His once solid image was cracking, and fast.
The silence only made it worse.
Without an explanation, without accountability, all people saw was a man who had hurt a child and walked away like nothing happened. Teyana also went quiet. Her normally active social media presence turned into silence. No photos, no videos, no cryptic quotes, nothing.
And that nothing spoke volumes.
Fans started speculating, some worried, some hopeful.
Was she rethinking everything?
Was she protecting her daughter in private while the world debated it in public?
Was she ending things with Aaron?
No one knew for sure, but the pressure was building. Each day that passed without a word from her added to the weight. And in the silence, everyone waited, hoping that when she finally spoke, it would be in her daughter's defense.
What happened inside that home wasn't just a personal issue.
It became a symbol of something much bigger. A reminder of how fragile peace can be when boundaries are not respected, and how quickly everything can spiral when trust is broken.
One argument. One moment of losing control.
That's all it took to shake the entire foundation of what was supposed to be a family. People argued over the details, who said what led up to it, but the heart of it remained the same. A child was hurt.
Emotionally. Deeply.
And no excuse could make that okay. Yes, the daughter spoke up. Yes, she had words to say.
But she is a child.
It's never her job to stay calm or manage an adult's emotions. That's the adult's responsibility. It's their job to de-escalate, to protect, to create a safe environment. And Aaron didn't just fail in that moment. He lost control in a way that made everyone watching question his place in that household.
His outburst was more than just yelling.
It was a failure of character, and the consequences were rippling far beyond that day. Iman's response reminded people what real fatherhood looks like. Not loud, not showy, just present and unwavering. He didn't need to prove himself with big statements.
He proved it with action, with protection,
and with the steadiness that every child deserves when things feel like they are falling apart. He became the anchor in a storm, and for that, He earned not just respect, but trust. And now, Teyana stands in a place no mother ever wants to be, caught between someone she once loved and the child she's supposed to protect above all else. It's an impossible place, but one that forces clarity. When a home that once felt safe becomes a source of pain, hard choices have to be made. The home they tried to build, with effort, with love, now lies in pieces. What comes next is unclear. Maybe things can be rebuilt. Maybe not. But what's certain is that things will never be the same. Because once a child is hurt, everything changes. The trust, the dynamic, the future, it all shifts. And now, the focus has to be on healing, on protection, on ensuring that this child never feels that fear again. And if that means walking away from a relationship, if that means rebuilding from scratch, so be it. Because in the end, protecting your child is the only thing that truly matters. And in this story, that message came through louder than anything else. Do you think Aaron crossed a line that can never be forgiven? Should Teyana cut him out for good, or is there room for one final chance? If this were your family, what would you do?
Drop your thoughts in the comments below.
Because no matter how complicated things get, one truth remains. No child should ever be made to feel unsafe in their own home. If you believe that too, show your support. And don't forget to subscribe for more real, raw family stories that hit straight to the heart.